Hoi, ik ben Ilona en ik kom uit Nederland. Ik studeer in België, in Gent, schilderkunst aan Sint-Lucas. En ik ben hierheen gekomen in september om schilderkunst te studeren in Edinburgh, Edinburgh College of Art. En daar ben ik nu. So here is my exhibition. It's called Thank You Goodbye because I'm leaving on Monday already. And I had a really good time here. Scotland influenced my art in a way that they have very different parks here, I think, in Edinburgh. When you go out to the meadows, for example, just the park to get to the Edinburgh College of Art, it's completely flat and structured, and it doesn't have any. It has trees, but it doesn't really have any bushes or growing in it. And what I discovered when I was passing it every day, I just lived next to the meadows, is that there were so many objects left behind in the park that I got quite intrigued by because they were different than the objects that I used to see, of course, coming from another country. So I started working with them in a way that here you can see some pictures, Polaroids that I took from things that I found, really the objects that I didn't take with me, just some of them to give them more of a feeling of the place that I found them in. And then I continued doing the same with actually the other works that I have to reconstruct the landscape of the meadows with the objects that I found in the meadows, so to reconstruct the landscape with the objects from the landscape. For example, this sculpture, it's a jumper that I found in the meadows, a cashmere jumper, left behind somewhere. I found it and I found it quite intriguing that it moved in such a nice way, and the movement had a bit of the mountains, the hill, actually for me it's a mountain because I'm from the Netherlands, but at Artist's Seat, which is a hill, and it had the same kind of movement of the stones, the rocks that Artist's Seat is made of. So that is for me like a part of the landscape, and it continues with the drawing. And this is actually, I found a lot of sprays in the meadows as well. So people leave behind things like toothpaste and deodorant sprays. And so one of these sprays, I started using them. I tried to really get the feeling of the objects, and they were really metal and static in a way. And if you're walking through the meadows, you often see the fields, but in the end they are very misty, and when you have the trees behind you can barely see them. So that's what I kind of made around it. Almost everything that I made here is all made from things that I found, not always in the meadows. For example, the papers and the wood, for example, I found that here somewhere around in the art college, but it wasn't used anymore. And the papers that are on, this is actually a collage of all kinds of different, there's parking tickets and little doctor prescriptions and notes from people that they, kind of the blue, for example, is a note from someone that they tried to erase again. And I just collaged them all together and added paint and a drawing, which is based on another object that I found on it. And it had really my attention of being home there in that field, and that, like next to the field where my actual home was. So this reflects a bit more to the things I was making in Belgium, in Ghent. Because I was always working with landscapes, but more with the memory of the landscapes that I was longing for. So when I travel a lot, and when I was traveling, and I went through Ireland and Scotland as well, and I saw these really nice cliffs and landscapes. I tried to take that home and to pass that feeling on of being lost in that, wandering around in that amazing landscape. So this is a jumper that I used to reconstruct that landscape in a way that it feels really going, and like the wandering through the park as well, and then the meadows and so a really pulled out landscape that I feel is really nice here, that gives you air to breathe. So this is maybe what, after the Polaroids, one of the first things that I made to start working more with the objects instead.